Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and especially you, nephew, welcome back to another Union Arena video. Now we are back to back. Finally got my orders in a fair. For now, I will disappear again. But for now, we're ready for daily uploads for the week again. But this deck we're going over today is the Briggs Affinity deck, or Armstrong deck if you want to call it by her name. But because this is our boss target. First things first, really enjoyed this deck. As I discover more and more of this game, I think blue is probably my favorite color so far. I enjoy both the blue decks in Attack on Titan, and I enjoy both the blue decks here, which the other blue deck is Roy Mustang, which we'll get to later. But for this Olivier deck, by the way, I should have said this last time because these decks are actually out. But look at it's an $11 deck. So if you are looking into getting into card games, especially if you're discovering Union Arena like I am, and you want to play live in some sort of locals, decks are very cheap right now, and I'll tell you right now, this deck is actually pretty good. It's got some pretty good lines, and when you get actual practice in, I bet it's actually even better. But with that being said, today's agenda is going over the deck list. We have 3 games for you, and then going back over the deck list, making any last minute or changes or edits to the deck to make it better overall. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Let's go over it in order. Our 0 cost for this deck is our Olivier Armstrong, and this is mostly our only raid target. The only raid we run in this deck is the other Olivier, but there's a reason for that. Normally there's like 2 or 3 raid targets you run in the deck, but this is really the only raid you need in this deck. Very, very explosive character. But our 0 cost raid target here, our 0 cost Balto Fallman, which is a Briggs Affinity, draw 1, trash 1. And then our 0 cost Louis Armstrong, really to fill out the deck with a couple extra active triggers, and some first turn plays if you don't draw into these 2. Our next most expensive is this 1 cost Olivier Armstrong, another raid target, but also a top 4 searcher for a Briggs Affinity type card, and you can add it to your hand and place remaining at the bottom, and if you added a card, you sideline a card. So you're pretty much standard 4 card top searcher for Briggs Affinity, which all characters except for the Armstrongs are Briggs. So everything is searchable besides these 2, or Alex Armstrongs, I should say, because they have the same last name. Even the stage is searchable with this Olivier searcher. Our next is this 2 cost Miles. When active, oh, I'm sorry, that is not what it says. If you have 3 or more Briggs Affinity type cards on your field, this card gains +1 energy generation. So that's important for getting this Olivier out, because she is a 6, so you do need at least 2 double energy generators on your board, and we do have a fair bit of them, 12 double energy generators in this deck. So it's not too difficult to get this Olivier out, but sometimes you do run into an energy drought. But this deck still works without it, and allowing you to set up for your next turn getting this out. Our next card is this Olivier Armstrong. She is, if a card with 2 or more base AP cost has been played onto your field this turn, choose one of your AP cards and switch it to active. You can only activate this Olivier Armstrong ability once each turn. Now, I know it says this Olivier Mirror Armstrong. I don't know if they mean this specific card. It doesn't say the card number like the father does from the last deck we played, where it said if this card number is on the field, then or you can't play it. But I don't know if this means specifically this card that you've played, or any Olivier Armstrongs in your hand as well. Because of that, I just decided not to do that. It makes sense for that not to be active because you can just keep restanding AP and fill out your board if you can just use as many of these you have in your hand. But it's still a very strong card, and that actually introduced us to the main goal of the deck. Our 2 action point characters here. Let's start with this Armstrong because he's pretty simple. Just double damage, and when this character attacks and wins a battle, draw 2 cards. So basically, if it's blocked and wins, then you draw 2 cards. Not if it does the damage to face. So pretty simple, but is a double action or 2 action points. So it procs this Olivier's ability to restand an AP if you played it in that order, and then this Buccaneer, which is your main goal of the deck. It works in more synergy with the rest of the deck. I will explain when I get to this Olivier. It is a Briggs Affinity 2 action point, 4 energy. If you have 3 or more Briggs Affinity cards on your field, reduce this AP cost by 1 in your hand, which is very important because 2 AP is pretty expensive in this game. It's essentially half your turn most of the time. So having it reduced to 1 in your hand is pretty big, and this is just a good card. Now, I forget to restand my AP when I'm playing in the sim until the last game. I realized my mistake. But you know, it wouldn't be a DonmeetDon video if there wasn't play mistakes. So I was forgetting that first part of his effect, which would reduce his AP cost for getting to restand 1. But it in actually playing, and like I said, when you actually learn this deck and can do well, knowing which cards to search for, which cards to sideline, which cards you don't need, which cards you do need for certain matchups. This deck can be really explosive and really strong. His other effect is Activate Main. This character gains 1000 BP, impact 1, and at the end of your opponent's attack phase, sideline this card, or sideline this character and draw a card until the start of your next turn. So he becomes a 5k with impact on your attack, and then he'll stand up for your opponent's turn and you can block with the 5k. But you do sideline them after you activate this ability and draw a card, which it has its ups and downs. This is definitely more of a game, I would say late game to game finishing effect, unless you really need the 5k on blocking. You can use this early, but when you use it too early, then you just lose a body, maybe before you really should. So you got to be smart about when using this ability. But actually, let's go over the events before we make it to the raid. We have our standard AP restand final, running 4 of these, 4 special events, which is pretty standard. Sideline oh, this one is actually rest a 5k or less, or and it will remain resting the next time it will switch to active, or if Olivier is on your field, you can sideline it instead. So pretty much your standard special event. And then we're running 2 of these. The military is in trouble. Draw 2 cards, and if you only have 2 cards in your hand, draw an additional card. Now I might end up dropping this. I was running it just in case I wasn't seeing what I needed, but and it fills out the deck because all of these are already at a 4 cost, but maybe there is another tech character card that I can toss in here that would be better than this, because I found myself just sidelining this more than I actually needed to use it, because of actually reading these effects. Like this will draw you a card, this will draw you a card if it wins a battle. And finally, our sight card is another 2 action point, but when played, reduce the AP cost of the next Briggs Affinity type card from your hand by 1, and then activate main, switch to resting. You can only activate this ability if a card with 2 or more base AP has been played until your field this turn, draw a card, and you can only activate this Fort Briggs ability one time each turn. So same thing with that last sentence about this Olivier. I don't know if it means, it says this Fort Briggs, so I assume that means all the Fort Briggs you have on your field, and not you can only activate this card. So I feel like that is the text difference that both these follow, and why they don't chain into each other, because you can have multiple of these on your board, but you probably can't just draw two because you played out one 2 energy cost that turn. But finally, the engine of this deck, really not, well, yeah, I would consider the engine of this deck the Olivier Raid. Now, when played, switch all Briggs affinity type cards on your field to active, and then when attacking, you may place one card from your hand into your sideline. If you do, choose up to one character on your field with 2 or more AP costs and switch it to active. So this is where the combos start. So I actually pull it off in my first game. When you play this out, you can actually, because this counts as a Briggs affinity card, so you actually switch this to active, so you can play this for 2 AP, reduce this by 1, making it a free action point as long as you have the right energy generation. Play this out for free and set this to active, and then turn it to resting to draw a card. And then same thing with this, reducing it by 1. If you have this on your board and then 2 other Briggs cards on your board, this is actually free if you play it next. So another huge swing that I was forgetting to do, but we'll get there when we get there. But yeah, and then playing this out, setting up all of these cards to active. The only one you miss is this Alex Armstrong, but he is a 2 action point card, so you actually get her second ability, the one attacking. You can switch him back to active because he doesn't, or the 2 action points doesn't have to be Briggs affinity. It's just any 2 action point card you can switch to active if you sideline a card from hand. So if you guys see how deadly this combo can be, wait till you see it in action. Wait till you see it in action. And with that being said, let's just hop straight into the first game we have for you today. Let's turn this to 2 times speed, and I'm pretty sure I definitely should mulligan this. I have no curve. Okay, good job, Donovan. I have a better curve now. I play out this Armstrong just to start the energy generation. Maybe I should have actually, now that I think about it, I should have played out this Olivier and into the Searcher Olivier, so I can sideline this Armstrong without having to lose an actually important card in my hand. But I wasn't thinking that far ahead. This was my first game, so bear with me. We're going up against a red Attack on Titan deck. The Aaron Titan deck. So they have the basement searches and actually have it in the trash already, which is big for them. So I decide to search for a Briggs Affinity type card, grab a Olivier, the AP restanding Olivier, and also play out this Miles to board. Now, do I cheat here? I think I cheat here. Bear with me, because yeah, so I cheated here. My bad, y'all. So this is, I'm thinking that this card is when active. It's the what's his name? Edward Elric. Blue Edward Elric is when active, it gains an additional energy generation. That's not how this card works. I was thinking that it was the same thing. So the plan here is to play out the Buccaneer to the front line, and then play out this Olivier to set up on my energy line. That'll restand an AP because this Buccaneer is 2 AP cost, and then I can raid this Olivier over this one, standing the Buccaneers active and swinging in. But I actually because once again, because I played this Alex instead of this 0 cost Olivier, this actually isn't generating 2 energy cost. So I cheated. I cheated, and this time it actually mattered that I cheated. But then again, oh no, I'm still just cheating. Because now I'm playing this out of order. And yeah, so this actually shouldn't be going through. Rereading my card, it says every Briggs type is active, but he shouldn't even be on the board here. That's my fault. That's my fault. If I could, Tony 21, I apologize. I apologize. This is straight up cheating. Yeah. Man, now I feel bad because y'all see. So so let me defend myself a little bit here. If I had a little bit more practice with this deck, I would have played this Olivier out anyways. So please give me that. And then he would have been active, a double energy generating, and then all of this would have went the same. I would have just trashed this from hand instead of this Olivier, to still end up doing 3 swings with 2 bodies on turn, what is this, 3? My bad. But y'all see the vision. Y'all see how explosive this turn was at the start of the turn, especially with going up against a deck like this where they need a lot of energy generation because they got the raid trigger, but they need 8 energy generation, so they couldn't trigger him on to anything. But yeah, my fault for misplaying, but the line was still there. So y'all see the idea behind it. But yeah, and I forgot to restand an AP with him anyways. So let's just say that counted. Let's just say that counted. But they play out everything. The basement is cheaper because they have the key to the basement in the sideline. So now they are all set up for their raid. They got their 8 energy generation to raid out this Aaron. Luckily, his effect is choose an opponent's character with 2k or less BP on the front line and sideline it. Really just getting rid of chump blockers. If they had the Armin to boost that up to 3000, I mean, it still wouldn't have got anything on my board, but it would have been a little bit more dangerous, because that's just activate main, just clear out a body. But it does have double damage, and when attacking it gains impact. So still a very, very dangerous card to have to be staring me in the face. And they actually, yeah, I forgot, they actually raid in the other Aaron next. So another double damage swinger, with 1000 or another 5k double damage on his turn. So he swings it with impact, and I take both of them. I luck out with the active trigger, and I get this raid trigger, which I cannot use because I don't have the energy generation currently. So he swings in another double damage, but I got the active trigger, so I get to free block this, and I just take the next one. So get a special trigger, which is huge. I sideline this Aaron. This is debatable for me here. Both of these have the effect of when you're at 3 or less life, switch the character to active when attacking. This one has the added effect of sidelining a card, but I think maybe, well, no, because no, this was the right play, because this is base 5k. This is only 5k on his turn, so this is the right play to sideline him. I was thinking, because it's early in the game, this one is drawing a card every time it attacks, so maybe it would have been better to sideline this to stop his card draw. But going for the aggressiveness that this deck needs, swinging at 4k most of the time, it's better to just get that 5k up out of there. So I get a State Alchemist, AP restanding, so I end up AP drawing. The idea is to, okay, so yeah, I mess up here. Dang it, Donovan, you had the play. So the play here is to play out this Buccaneer, I have more than 3 Briggs, so he actually is played out for 1. So he costs 1 in my hand right now. And I picked him up on this draw 1 trash 1. So I did need to AP draw and then use this Vital Fallman to draw into him. But then I can State Alchemist, stand up 2, play him out for 1, and then raid the Olivier again, getting even more aggressive if I had just remembered to read the card. So I missed out on that play, unfortunately. But it is possible. Yeah, so I just raid out this Olivier thinking that I didn't have the play that I had. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So I activate his ability because I'm swinging 3 times with him this turn. This is what I was talking about with, like, it isn't game finishing right now, but it's getting there. This is definitely late game. So I activate his impact 5,000, or push him up to 5,000, give him impact. So he's doing damage no matter what they do, outside of triggers, of course, at least 3 times, because I'm gonna swing with him first, and it gets another raid trigger, but his energy is not set up for it. And then I attack with this Olivier, allowing me to trash a card. I trash this State Alchemist card. Really bad voice crack there, ignore that. To restand them, swing with him again. They get another raid trigger, which they cannot use, and then swing with this Olivier, setting this card as active, and they block out that one. So I push them down to 1 life, and I actually hit the final in the right order. Now this card does go away at the start of my turn, but I have another one in hand that I can just play out and still swing twice with them with these on the board. So as long as, what I'm thinking here, as long as I keep my Oliviers, I'm pretty sure I'm still good to go for game next turn. They rebuild their energy fast and raid out another 8-drop Aaron Yeager, and push them to the front line. So another double damager with 5k. So they're saying that they choose to restand, not impact. So they swing for the 2 damage. So both of these this is still a very close game. Like, I'm having an amazing game, but they are also having an amazing game. They have their energy generation. They have their Titans on the board. They got, I think he has another one in hand currently, if you needed it. But right now he is swinging for 2 damage, restanding, swinging for 2 more damage, and then this one can swing for 2 damage, restand, and swing for 2 more damage. So this game is still very, very close for me losing my board. I think I'm debating how I want to block out, because I will need to. So I decide to take these 2. Huge. I get the sideline trigger and I get an active trigger. So now, yeah, he just passes turn over, and sideline and draw. I drew into another Buccaneer anyways. I take off that, just play this to the front line. Doesn't matter as much here, but I activate his effect to go to 5,000, so he can't free block me. But I have to attack with this Olivier first to trash a card to stand him up. He just takes it, and GG's. So yeah, saved. Let's see, was I saved by the trigger? Was that GG's outside of triggers? Let's see. So he attacks in. Let's just assume all these are no triggers. He attacks in for 2 damage, and I take that. I go down to 2. He'll attack in again for 2 damage. I would more than likely block with this Olivier, and then he'll attack for 2 damage, and I have to block again with this Buccaneer, and then he'll attack for another 2 damage, and I have to block again with this Olivier. Yeah, even at that point, it would just be push all 3 of these up to the front line and go for game that way, because I wouldn't have a board at that point. So triggers made it a lot easier, but I would not have died, thank the Lord. But yeah, GG's to my opponent, and let's jump into game 2. 2 times speed. I mulligan this to get a better hand. And I'm praying on a draw, and I get the draw because I only have 1 0 cost in hand. So I play out this Vato and draw 1 trash one. I trash this Miles because I only need 1 and I have 1 in hand already. That will probably be the curve out for the next turn, is play out this Miles. And currently have no other plays outside of that. So they asked the AP draw, a little bit out of order, but I don't really mind. And I actually draw into another Vato Fallman. So I push 1 up to the front line to start a little early aggression and also get a little chump blocker. Excuse me. Because I draw into the second one, my only play here, the rest of these are 2 AP costs. Actually, no, Donovan. All right. So if I left him on the energy line, I could have played this Miles out to the board. I would have had 3 on the build, 3 Briggs cards on the board. So he actually would have started his energy generation early. So I was actually looking at him wrong still in this game. I didn't think he would have been double energy generating at that point. But I would have been at 4 energy, and then I could have played out this Buccaneer early, because he would have only costed 1 as well. So I missed out on that line. Unfortunate, but hey, what are you gonna do? Oh man, yeah, because that would have started things off crazy. If I had set up this Buccaneer this turn, not attacking with it, but at least having it on board, either forcing them to deal with it, slowing down their next turn, with a event card in hand, or they can just leave it on board, and into my next turn it would have been Fallman, Olivier, Miles. I could have played out this stage card, reducing the AP of my next Briggs affinity card for 2 AP, then play out this Buccaneer for free, then raiding this Olivier, standing up that Buccaneer. Then I would have had 2 Buccaneers on the board and Olivier to restand one of them. Yeah, man, that would have been a nasty turn. Oh man, oh, I'm gonna have dreams about that turn. Unfortunate, but we start off with some early aggression, and we'll take a no trigger to start off to boot. But we go back into their turn. But like I said, even if I did find that play line, it's very possible that they had a removal event in hand. They could have just popped them, and I would have got no value out of them. But still, who knows? So they raid out this Gurren Mark III. Actually, yeah. So, yeah, because this Gurren Mark II, I'm sorry, is sideline a 3K or less. So they actually wouldn't have been able to sideline them with that play. They would have had to try a different play from hand. So I play out this Fort Briggs, and play out this event. I'm rereading the card here because I wanted to make sure that I can do it in this order. So this actually, so yeah, here he should have been played for free. I just wasn't reading this card, and I could have played too. Yes, so he could have been played for Donovan. God. All right, next video is going to be reading Rainbow. So if I was doing this correctly, I could have still did that line. That was what I was saying. I was rereading this card because this is not a Briggs affinity card. So this means, or this says next Briggs affinity card this turn. So I could do it in this order. So I AP restand, stand up 2, played him out for free, played him out for 1, raided Olivier for 1. So I still would get right back into where I was at last turn with another Olivier in hand, ready to continue aggression if I drew into another one, because playing this Olivier will stand this one up as active, drawing me a card, and then hopefully off life I can draw into a base Olivier somewhere. But yeah, just didn't see the line. Just didn't see the line. Or didn't read the line. So I rest this to draw a card, and there's the other Olivier target. Oh man. Man, I gotta stop doing these videos. It's bad for my health. So I use his ability here, because I have another one in hand, and I want to get more of a life lead here. I don't want them to just free block with the Gurren. So what am I doing here? Okay, so I sideline a card. I sideline the raid here. I don't know if that's the best idea, to be honest, but then again, this Buccaneer and Olivier that I have in hand go hand in hand to give me an AP restand. So I think the idea here is to draw into another one. And they actually just take all 3 hits here, which is surprising, but I get an extremely early life lead. Maybe they were fishing for sideline triggers or something, but instead, I'm pretty sure they force sideline something here. Yeah, so this forces out a sideline on my Buccaneer, which is actually, so there's a debate here from my opponent to sideline the Olivier or the Buccaneer with that effect. You can sideline the Olivier because the Buccaneer is leaving the next turn, so that would just, in my next turn, I'll have nothing on the front line. I'll have to completely rebuild. Actually, if I'm remembering this correctly, they have something for my Olivier, but they decide to sideline the Buccaneer. The debate is, do you want me to lose my whole board, or leave the Olivier on board with no support to actually turn into? And I actually lose my draw effect here, which I sort of paid for with this Olivier attack, with trashing a card. The expectation is to trash a card with this Olivier, and then by my next turn, this Buccaneer will trash itself and draw me a card as a replacement. So that ruins that. But yeah, I do remember this because they have this AP restand into the raid that they didn't raid out last turn. If I remember this correctly. Yeah, they have an equally explosive turn back. Yeah, so they raid out this zero and some, I'm forgetting her name. Or the Gowine, I guess they're mentioning the mech that they were running. But when played, all opponents' characters lose 1,000 VP, so it pushes my Olivier down to 3K. And then if you guys remember, I hit them with a trigger for this Gurren, so I'm pretty sure they just play out that Gurren. Oh yeah, the second AP restand, of course. I don't know what's up with going against Kogias decks and them always having AP restands in hand, but they play out this Gurren, moves to the front line, and it sidelines my Olivier. So they clear my board anyways, without even giving me options to block. So they have, like I said, equally explosive turn. I get an active trigger, which goes nowhere. Get another active trigger, which goes nowhere. And just like that, they've tied the game up. But they are very much in the lead here, with 3 4Ks on the field, and them all being raid targets. So it's the best cards in the deck. So here, mess up again. He should have been played for 1. So I actually should have, yeah. So I think the reason why it took so long is I was debating how I'm going to play out this turn. I should have AP drawn here, played out the Buccaneer for 1, played out this Olivier, restanding 1, and then playing this Northern Wall of Briggs to sideline one of these characters. And then I could rest this Fort Briggs to draw an extra card to end up with 2 cards in my hand instead of 1. But like I said, reading is hard for me. So I play to the front line, really as a blocker, for next turn. Set this active with her effect. And I'm debating on who I'm going to sideline. I sideline one of their impactors. And then I rest this to draw a card. And it's an Olivier. But now I'm still in the danger zone. I don't use his effect here because I am trying to set up for next turn. Hopefully I get a trigger party and don't just straight up lose, but they have another sideline even in hand. So they sideline my Buccaneer, my only blocker for the turn. And then I believe they raid in another card just in case. So yeah, the only thing that would have saved me here is a good trigger up until that point. Now it's just GG's. There's nothing I can do to get out of this. So even this raid here, I get to raid this Olivier and move it to the front line, but they still have 2 attackers, so I just take the damage and lose the game. Unfortunate. Maybe if I was playing it correctly, that would have went a little bit better, but who knows. Let's go into our final game, game 3 here. I believe. Okay, so I accidentally forgot to hit record for a second. All they played was a vanilla 0 cost to their line before I hit record, but now it's my first turn. And I play out this Vatal Fallman to place an energy line, draw 1, trash 1, and I'm sidelining this Lewis. Because like I said, this Alex Armstrong is really just for his trigger, and just in case I need some energy generation early game. But with the curve that I had in hand, I don't need them anymore. So those should be the cards that I'm prioritizing my sidelines with. And this is what I'm figuring out now. This is the last game I played with this deck. So yeah, I'm finally making the right changes that I need for it, or at least play changes. So they are searching and they sideline a card, and then I believe they do a draw 1, trash 1 here. Oh yeah, I'm remembering this game now. So yeah, they forget the draw 1, trash 1 here. Yeah, I was rereading it. I didn't see them draw 1, trash 1, so I just have to switch the phase, and then they got it. So I get a searcher. So I get to look for, I think right now I'm looking for a Buccaneer to get the most out of my Olivier raid, because I don't have any 2 AP character cards in hand. So I find the Buccaneer. Here, it is debatable. I was debating. Oh, I am not in 2 times speed. I'm sorry. I was debating going to pick up that Olivier, the second Olivier, because to be honest, I only need 1 Buccaneer, and then there's 2 more right here. But it was a gamble. It was 1 Buccaneer and 1 Olivier in that search, so I guess it was pretty much a fair, or it was better to confirm the Buccaneer into my hand when I have a confirmed Olivier in my hand, than to gamble on a second search. But I pick up this double energy generating Olivier because I need her to raid, to get to 6 energy for my raid target anyways. But same thing as last game, push up this Vatal Fallman early, because my curve was pretty much set. So they play out this Suzaku to the front line as a blocker, which is smart. He has step, so it's not really a bad blocker, especially for how my board is. He can just free block this Vato every time, and then when they need the double energy generating, he can just walk to the, or move to the back line. So here again, I still have not recognized that should be a free play, and then I actually mess up here. I forget that she's a 6 energy. I play this to the front line, should have played it to the back line, but my opponent is cool about it, because I think this is the same opponent from the game before, and so I I debate on just playing it out, just play this event and swing with the Vato, but I'm like, that's such a waste. So I just end up axing, eventually end up axing if I can just move her to the energy line. What should have happened here, actually no, this is the only way I could have played this turn out because I needed 3 on the energy line. But I do raid in this Olivier, standing him up as active, standing this up as active, resting it to draw a card. And then, like I said, I should have 1 more AP here. I can play that Olivier search I have in my hand to the board, or even that other double energy generating Olivier, so I can ensure that my energy generation will be fine. But the search will probably be better, so I can find another Buccaneer or another raid Olivier, but mostly a Buccaneer, especially if I was deciding to use his effect. I think this is a play mistake here. I shouldn't be using his effect. Yeah, he gets sidelined anyway off of a trigger, which is unfortunate, but that's the game. But I shouldn't have used his effect anyways. Let me talk about it. The idea behind it is I didn't want him to block with him and just take as much damage as I can push through. But blocking with this Suzaku isn't bad, because he is a raid target. So forcing him to decide, am I going to lose a life or lose my raid target, my double energy generating 2 raid target, is actually much better than me just ensuring that I lose my body on my next turn. I should have just saved this effect, especially because I have no other 2 AP costs in my hand. So that actually pushes me. I mean, I get sideline triggered anyways, but it still would have ended up the same. And if he had blocked with the Suzaku anyways, then I could have attacked with this Vato Fallman. So yeah, that's just a bad play by me to activate that ability that early. But yeah. So yeah, they're doing their movements. And I forget what happens here. So I'm just gonna let it play out. Oh right, yeah. Live into sideline event, I believe, because it's always live into sideline event. I tell you about these green Code Geass decks, man, the bane of my existence. But yeah. Oh wait, do they not sideline event here? Okay, so they raid in their Lancelot. They do have this. We realized at the end of the game that this actually should not have the energy generating, but it's only a 4 cost anyway, so they have it either way. But they have because they have 3, or actually, oh no, they still have it because I believe this one counts. But his effect is if you have 3 or more knights of the round, then it gains 1000 BP and impact 1. And if on the front line, choose one of your other knights of the round characters and it gains 1000 BP. So later in the game that becomes very important. This deck seems to run off of that, like how your board is built. So yeah, there it is. Live into card into sideline. So you can see how fast I clicked that Olivier because I was like, oh, there's the live. I know it's coming, man. Just go ahead. So I get hit for all these. I get another raid Olivier, which is good for me. And then I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm just telling him no raid. I don't have the energy generation anyways. Do I block here or do I take this damage? Taking this damage is greedy. That's very greedy, Donovan. That's probably a bad play. Yeah, that's probably a bad play. Yeah, he's letting me know that this impact in plus 1000 is only on his turn. So I search here for a what is his name? Buccaneer, but that's very low chance because one's in the trash and we bottom decked 2, so there's only one more that could be coming up soon. So I just decided to sideline his Raid Lancelot, getting rid of his main deck engine for now. And then I guess I raid out this Olivier. Just waiting for him to sideline it. And then I just remind him in the chat. I try to be as patient as possible because I don't know if like the sim is bugging on their end or something, but there's only so long to wait, you know. But I do raid out this Olivier out of combo, unfortunately, but it does remove another body on their board, so you know we take those. It's tie game currently. I think I would consider this like a full tie game, board state wise, because I don't really have any of my targets for this Olivier to get active currently, nor do I have a way to search them out. So they do have another Lancelot raid, gaining another impact in 1,000 and giving 1,000 to this I'm forgetting his name, Suzaku again. Now this Suzaku is different actually. When attacking, give another Knights of the Round +1 damage. So I actually think he attacks out of order here. What he should do is swing with this Suzaku at 4k, because I cannot free block him anymore. Because I would either lose my Olivier or lose my Vato. Give him +1 damage. Let's see. Choose one other character on your field. Yeah, Knights of the Round affinity. So you can give him +1 damage. So he would then end up being damage 2. So then I am even more incentivized to block and just take the 1 impact damage. So this really limits my options for how I can block and survive, because I'm very low in life right now. So if he attacks with him first for 4k, knowing me, I would probably be greedy and take the damage, hoping for a sideline trigger on him, or an active trigger or something that I can block him out and win the impact fight. But if he attacks with him first, giving him double damage, it sort of forces me to block into this losing a body either way. But he decides to attack with his impactor first, his raid target first, and I get an active trigger. So yeah, either way, it ends up being all right, because of the active trigger. I can just block out and then block out the next one if he decides to attack with it. So huge Vato Fulmen coming in clutch right now. Then I AP draw here, and I draw into the Alex Armstrong, and then I AP draw here. Still just trying to get deeper into my deck, looking for those Buccaneers. Because he's 2 AP, I get to rest my Briggs stage to draw a card, and he has double damage, and now I get to use my Olivier effect to trash a card, set him as active, to put on even more pressure on my opponent. They get a color trigger. They don't have a 2 energy cost green card in hand, so there's nothing to play out as active, but I'm swinging double attack, so huge. Yeah, so I'm swinging double attack here, incentivizing them to block. It's back to tie game, but also because I won the battle against the character, I draw 2, draw into the Buccaneer for the next turn and a sideline event. So really just got right back into the game off those 2 cards. It was looking hairy. It was looking hairy, and this turn proves it even further on how hairy it was It was currently. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. So they get a third Lancelot. So now they have double impactors, double 5k with impact, and double BP boosting. So but it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird for my opponent here. I see why they take the play that they do, but they don't use this Suzaki effect again, because if they add 1,000 here, he'll be at 4k. Because of this Armstrong, he's a 45, so he actually gets a free block against a 4k. You can't do anything against these because they're 5ks. So I would actually no, there was a play. If he gave both these buffs to this Suzaku, pushing him up to 5k, swinging, giving one of these damage 2, I have to block that. It'll probably be with this Vato Fallman. Do I have to block that? Yeah, I think I have to block that, especially with a damage 2 coming. No, I don't have to block that. I'll take that one and then block out the damage 2. No, I do have to block it because both of these have impact in 5ks. So yeah, if they attack with 5k, I have to block that. That'll be with this Vato Fallman. And then he'll give double damage to one of these. Swing in for 2 damage. I have to block that because I can't get that low with this other impactor. I'll still take 1 damage, but then I will lose either my Olivier or my Alex Armstrong. And then they'll swing in with another 5k with impact, and I would have to take that one, going down to 1 life, forcing me to win on the return. But my opponent doesn't see that line. Unless I'm reading this Suzaku card wrong, that should be the way you play it out. They mess up here with sim stuff. It takes a minute for them to get back to the game. Okay, but there it is. So they decide to buff both of them up to 6k instead. I think the idea behind that is to ensure, well, no, they're already ensured that these impacts go through. Yeah, I think they just didn't see the line correctly. Yeah, they're buffing each other. Yeah, I'm looking at this card because I'm like, you should be buffing this guy, man. But he's not doing it for some reason. So he attacks for impact. I have to take this. And I have to take this too. Or I don't have to take this. Well, yeah, I do because it's impact. But I take this because I know I can just block out these 2 attacks with what I have on board. I get an active trigger anyways. So everything's free. Free blocks right now. And then it's my turn. So I'm looking through my cards, trying to set my play up. I AP draw here. Because I have the Stay Alchemist in hand. Reset this. State Alchemist stand up 2. Play out the Buccaneer to the front line. Yeah, this is when I finally remember that he's a 1 cost. Oh, I remember what I'm doing here. So because I've AP, that's what I was AP drawing for. I was looking for another Olivier so that I can just close this game out currently, or at least have them lose their entire board. I was looking for another Olivier raid. So I AP drew. I drew into this Vato Fallman, and then because I finally remembered that he is 1 AP, I get to play out the Vato Fallman to draw 1 trash one. Still looking for an Olivier, and even if I don't, I still have this Northern Wall of Briggs that I can sideline one of their cards as an option select, just in case. So yeah, just make sure all this is kosher. Place to the energy line. Draw a card, trash a card. It wasn't what I was looking for. Play this to the front line as a better blocker, and because I played a 2 AP cost card, I get to restand an AP and then use Northern Wall of Briggs to sideline one of their blockers. And all this is very important. So I activate his effect this turn because I want to ensure damage going through. So I swing in for 2. He blocks out. I attack with my Olivier, and I'm deciding who I want to stand up. I stand up my Buccaneer. There is a debate on who you should stand up here. I decided to stand up the Buccaneer for impact to get closer to game. But if I had stood up this Alex Armstrong, it essentially ensures that they lose another body here, maybe even 2 bodies here, because I'm still swinging with 4K, so they're incentivized to block, or they can just take it, hope on the trigger, and then I swing with another double damage 45 to get them down to 1 life if they had blocked it, or they'll lose another body. So they end up taking it, but so this is what I meant. Because this deck runs off of cards on the field, this one is only generating 1. Both of these are only generating 1 currently. So they get the raid trigger, but they're only at 2 energy generation. Because this card says if you have 4 cards on your energy line, then it generates an extra. So I attack in, they trigger that out. And I attack in with, this is the Olivier attack. They take it. So now I attack again, and this ensures that they get down to 1 life. They get an active trigger, but it's too late now. So yeah, it really came down to triggers. But this is also huge for me because I pushed him up to 5K. Well, actually, it doesn't matter because he doesn't have impact anyways. If he still had impact, he would have been at 4K. And I could have blocked him out, still blocking out for last life. He would not have won off of it. So they AP draw, and oh, I remember this. Yeah, I remember how this game ends. So they AP draw, and they have a little pop off. So I'm like, oh dang, they drew it, because I was looking at how they could win the game. But they notice it too. So they only need 2 more cards that are whatchamacallit, Knights of the Round to get this back up to 5K with impact. But what they draw into, they don't have the energy generation for, because these are only 1s at this point. So they just call GG's here, but they wanted to see the life. But it's fine. Now the sideline card drew from top deck. So yeah. So it was that. It was this step card here. They could have played that out into another card. But it is 2. Is it not? If he's talking about this, he can still play it. But he'll be at, oh, I see what it means. Okay. I wonder, I wish I could see his hand here. So yeah, he just calls it GG's, checks my top life card, seeing how the game would have ended. But I think I asked him for his as well, so we can see how the game would have ended. And I can pause it once he reveals it. Yeah, so it was a raid trigger. So yeah, I would have won when it got back to my turn, just by pushing up all the cards and swinging multiple times. But I wonder what was in his hand, because this was 2 energy generation, which generates 1. If he could, if he said he drew into this card, could have played that one out, and then maybe any other low energy cost card to your energy line that had Knights of the Round, it still would have activated this this Lancelot's ability, swinging for game. but I don't know what was in his hand. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, we call it GG's. We actually end up playing another one, but they leave early, so I couldn't include it for today's video. But those are all the games for today. So yeah, I like I said, really like this deck. It's much like the Levi deck, this setting things as active, but this one you trash from hand instead of resting in AP, just being more in line with Fullmetal Alchemist and, you know, the law of equivalent exchange. In order to gain something, you have to lose something at equal value, which it's really not equal value. I'm so fine with trashing one card from my hand to swing for double damage twice or impact twice. So yeah, they're cheating with the law of equivalent exchange, but I'll let them have it. But yeah, deck changes. Like I said, I would probably drop this Military is in Trouble. But what would I go up for? I wouldn't know what to go up for if I were to drop those two. Maybe this Edward Elric, just as another game closer, because when played, you may add one card from your hand to your life area, and if you do, switch this character to active. So maybe it's the same trigger as it, so maybe there's an idea for this Edward Elric. You still wouldn't be able to search it like any other card. Yeah, I don't know, or maybe this Armstrong, you get another draw one, trash one. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck list. Like I said, it felt really solid as is, so I don't have a lot of deck changes outside of that Military is in Trouble card. And also I am running almost 4 of everything, so it's hard to make changes like this, because it's actually very strong. But yeah, I appreciate you all for watching. Next video, actually I told myself I'm gonna stop saying next video, because the last time I said next video I was gone for a week. So you'll catch me on the next video. But if you want to stick around for more Union Arena content, go ahead and click subscribe. We are going to be sticking with, I can tell you we're sticking with Fullmetal Alchemist for the next video, because there are a couple more decks that I have to cover. But yeah, I will see you. Oh no, that's not the outro. I forgot. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more Union Arena content. Like the video as well. Share it with people who are learning the game just like me, who can learn from my mistakes and from the fact that I can't read. And yeah, play more card games. Support your local card shop. Keep them in business. And I will see you all on the next one. Goodbye.